Okay, got a couple thoughts. So I do some of my best thinking when I'm in two different spots. Number one, driving, and secondly, in the shower. But we're not going to talk about the shower today because I'm driving in this hot little sports car. Gotta drive something you love, something that's a bit of an experience. And yeah, I tell you, kids, it really cuts down on the texting and driving if you buy yourself a manual transmission because it's so much more interactive. You know, you thank me later. Go buy yourself a manual trans. So as I'm driving down 275, passing the airport, there's an advertisement for a company that is hiring people for $15 an hour. Okay. Not looking to start a big debate about the minimum wage and everything that certain thought processes want to pursue, but I am here to make a point from my perspective, and I hope you can relate to what I'm saying. So here goes. $15 an hour is not a lot of money, and in fact, for my standard of living and the giving that I want to, the sowing, let's put it that way, sowing that I want to go ahead and, assist other ministries in and causes and, there's all different types of, people that I'd like to be able to help. And I am limited at $15 an hour. All right. I think that's a good way to say it. So there's this big movement for people want to go ahead and strive for the $15 an hour minimum wage. And I had a bit of an epiphany where, I'm thinking to myself, that should not be the standard. Okay, don't set your sights at $15 an hour because, to quote Bon Scott from AC/DC way back on a song called Riff Raff, I can't feed my cat on Social Security. All right? Quoting the late, great Bon Scott. I can't feed my cat on Social Security. Basically saying, the government's going to put food in your mouth and that's it. You're not going to be able to thrive. You're not going to be able to go ahead and live a successful life on a minimum wage. All right? So if you can develop a thought process, I was having a talk with a guy the other day, develop a thought process to grow something big. Come up with big ideas, try some ideas, take some calculated risks. If you're going to go broke, Robert Kiyosaki says go broke before 30 years old because it's easier to recover and maybe you don't have as much of a family. But it is our job as producers in this world to come up with good ideas so the government can then take their taxes, right? And also so you can go ahead and produce for your family and the ministries that you want to support and things like that. So I had to get that out of my head because I think it's such it's my perspective. Let's call it what it is. My perspective on things. You might not agree. You might think $15 an hour is a really good wage. Maybe it is. If you're 16, if you don't have a family. I'm not bashing anybody here, but let me leave you with this. You got to understand that there are the seeds of greatness inside of you. All right? And if you stew on being able to produce, have inspired ideas, God-inspired ideas, sit down and take some time in prayer, right? And see what the Spirit will go ahead and produce in your brain. And then apply that in life. And if you don't have the resources around you to apply these ideas, these inspirations that you've got, then reach out to me. Reach out to somebody else that you look up to, who you think is successful, and put those ideas to work. Because here's a prime example. You got this Bitcoin growth going on right now, and I know that there's people out there that are thinking, oh, if I would have just bought Bitcoin when it was $600, or if I would have started buying when so-and-so told me to buy it. Stop beating yourself up emotionally about that stuff. Understand that it's still growing. And if you find something that is growing, you can still participate. You don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin to the tune of $38,000 or $39,000. You can buy a tenth of a Bitcoin and still experience the 80% growth that it's had over the past week. Think about that. You know, we're looking at mutual funds and everything else today. Like, there's a serious amount of growth right now with all this stimulus getting printed, all this money getting printed from the government right now. You understand that goes into the stock market, that goes into real estate. I'm optimistic about the future. And if you got questions about things, I don't know everything. And if I don't, I'm not going to blow smoke and tell you I know something if I don't. But I understand to a point the real estate market. And I also understand that if the government's going to print out a whole bunch of money, that's going to go into the pockets of the politicians. It's going to go into the pockets of the people in the stock market. And, you know, like you say, I'm not down on the rich because I want to be rich myself. However, let me rephrase that. I am rich, but you can be rich as well. And that's all I'm saying with this whole minimum wage thing. Stop minimum wage thinking and start pursuing a wealth mindset and see where it takes you in this 2021.